Hi, my name is Bree, and the topic of my presentation today is financial fraud within a business, and I will be presenting to a group of entrepreneurs looking to start their own business. I am sure many of you have heard about the Enron scandal. This was a huge accounting scandal where the CEO left massive amounts of debt off of the financial statements to make the company look like it was thriving. This caused their stock prices to skyrocket, which fueled suspicions in the company. When this fraud was detected, the company went bankrupt, causing thousands of shareholders to lose their retirement accounts and many employees to lose their job. This shows the importance of knowing about fraud when starting a new business. I will start off by explaining the types of fraud that can happen in a business, then how to detect and prevent that fraud from happening. The three main types of financial fraud are asset misappropriation, financial statement fraud, and corruption. Asset misappropriation are schemes where employees steal or exploit its organization's resources, and it makes up about 90% of all fraud cases studied. Examples include stealing cash before or after it's been recorded, making an untrue expense reimbursement claim, and stealing non-cash assets from the organization. Assets may also be obtained from a legitimate process but through fraudulent means. Examples include reporting time that you didn't actually work or applying for reimbursement of funds that you didn't actually spend. The next type of fraud is financial statement fraud, and this is actually the type of fraud that Enron underwent. And these are schemes that involve omitting or intentionally misstating information in the company's financial reports. This makes up less than 5% of fraud cases but causes the most median loss. Accountants with control over financial statements are in the perfect position to cover fraud like this up because they can alter journal entries to make everything seem like it's okay. The next type of fraud is corruption, and these are schemes where employees use their influence in business transactions for their own benefit while violating their duty to the employer. And this makes up less than 1/3 of cases. Examples of corruption include bribery, which is persuading someone to act in your favor by giving a gift or other inducement. An example would be giving a payroll clerk a special gift for them giving you credit for time not actually worked. Another example of corruption is extortion, which is obtaining something through force or threats. Two ways of detecting fraud that I'm going to talk about today are setting up a reporting system and bringing in an auditor. Since most occupational fraud is detected because of a tip from employees, and not all employees are comfortable with reporting their coworkers, companies should set up a reporting system so that they can report anonymously. If employees know of fraud within a company, they will be more likely to tell upper management if they can do so without anyone knowing. Sometimes management is the culprit of committing fraud. They may do this because they receive incentives if certain goals are met, or they may feel pressure to reach financial goals in the company. Therefore, companies should initiate annual examinations by an outside party. Bringing in an auditor will catch any errors on financial statements and help prevent employees from knowingly giving incorrect financial statements. There are many ways that companies can go about preventing fraud. Today I'm going to talk about 3 ways, which include knowing your employees, making employees aware, and implementing internal affairs. You want to make sure you run background checks on any employee that's going to handle money within your business. This will prevent you from hiring employees who have committed fraud before. There's also the theory of the fraud triangle. This was developed by Donald Cressy in the 1950s, and it states that even the most honest and trustworthy employees will commit fraud if they have 3 things, which are financial pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. Knowing your employees is one way to know their financial pressure. You want to look out for red flags such as divorce, health issues, or personal debt to help prevent this component of the triangle. Employees should be aware of the fraud risk policy and consequences if they are caught performing fraud. Employees planning to commit fraud will be aware that management is watching them and will be less likely to commit it. And those who are honest employees will be more aware of possible signs and will be able to help report it. Going back to that triangle, implementing internal affairs will help eliminate the opportunity component. These are plans implemented to safeguard your company's assets and deter fraud and theft. Segregation of duties is the concept of having more than one person required to complete a task, such as balancing check drawers or counting inventory records. Employees would have to collaborate with other employees to commit fraud, making it less likely that they will do so. You also want to make sure that you have extremely precise documentation so you can spot anything out of the ordinary. This includes numbering your checks, purchase orders, and invoices consecutively. You want to use 4 deposit-only stamps on all incoming checks, require 2 signatures on checks above a certain amount, and do not allow a signature stamp. And all of these procedures should be monitored and revised on a consistent basis. In a perfect world, business ethics and morality would not be called into question, and business owners would not need to worry about the people that they hire. Contrarily, society would not need to worry about business owners being corrupt and taking advantage of financial gain. However, we do not live in a perfect world, and business ethics are called into question every day. Financial fraud in the forms of asset misappropriation, financial statements, and corruption can be detected through reporting and auditing. More importantly, they can be prevented before the fact by knowing your employees, making them aware, and implementing internal affairs. Thank you for listening, and I hope this presentation has brought enlightenment to your understanding of the severity of financial fraud.